Hello again and welcome back to section 3. So as I've said earlier, this is probably the most complicated section of the whole course itself. So in this little part here we're going to deal with sleep and the brain. So why the brain needs sleep and what happens to the brain as we sleep. So don't worry if these names and terminology sound complicated. A, because they're not, and B, it doesn't matter if you don't fully get it to start with. You can keep referring back to it and refresh yourselves as you go along. So for those of you that like detail, we're going to throw in some terminology. And although the brain has many parts, there are some key sections that play important roles during sleep. So for instance, these are the hypothalamus, the brain stem itself, the thalamus, the cerebral cortex, which is basically the lining of the brain, and the pineal gland. So in a nutshell, these roles include things like they link our light to our circadian rhythms, which we'll go into in further detail later on. They produce chemicals which reduce the chance of us reawakening, which for me personally, that was a biggie when I had my sleep problems. They send signals to relax the muscles, and they fill our dreams with sounds, images, and if you're lucky, sometimes colours as well. They also release more growth hormones and proteins for growth and repair during sleep, and they help process your emotions, probably more so in stage 4, which is a REM part of your sleep. We'll go to that in more detail later on. And the nerve cells in your brain also recover faster and far more efficiently during sleep. So they will do that during the day, but it's far more efficient during sleep. Don't forget our old friend, the pineal gland. So this is just one part of our endocrine system. So this system is a network of glands throughout the body which create and secrete hormones. The pineal gland takes information from the retina in your eyes about the environmental light. So when it's light, we stop producing melatonin. When it's dark, we produce melatonin. We go to sleep. So when it gets dark, it produces the melatonin so we can get into that sleep process. Sleep is also important for the brain plasticity. I'm not sure if you've heard of that before. This is basically the brain's ability to adapt to input. So the less we sleep, the more the brain struggles to process what we've learned that day. And therefore we have more trouble remembering it in the future. Brain plasticity, quite important. So as you can see, there's a lot going on in the brain when we sleep. There are also lots of factors in our lives which can significantly affect our brain's ability to carry out these processes effectively, such as stress, depression and anxiety. They all affect the way that our brain reacts when we sleep. So let's leave it there for this part then of section 3. There's a lot to take in there. Again, don't worry if you don't get all that in one day. You can keep referring back to it. Just try and remember some of the key messages. So in the next stage of section 3, we're going to go into and look what happens with the body. So why the body needs sleep and what happens with the body while we're sleeping. So we'll leave that one there and I'll catch you on the next slide. Bye bye for now.